Hello, and welcome to this introductory talk on the Ishayas teaching, now known as Ascension. This is a brief introduction to a profound practice, one that is only taught in person. While no formal techniques will be shared here, we will explore some truly powerful topics, the keys to mental and physical well-being, how to find answers to life's deepest questions, how to rise beyond limitations and addictive patterns, how to activate more of your DNA, and how to experience greater love, peace, and joy in your everyday life. We'll also look at the power of thoughts, the natural state of the universe, and how to reduce stress by simply flowing with that state. Ultimately, we'll touch on one of life's greatest mysteries, the purpose of human life here on Earth. If any of this resonates with you, stay with us. What this teaching offers is far greater than any words can express. So, who are the Ishayas? They are an ancient group of enlightened monks who, since the beginning of time, have quietly guided humanity's evolution, preparing us for this very moment, the dawn of the third millennium. The word Ishaya comes from Sanskrit. It means for Isha, a term that points to a higher state of consciousness. Some call it Christ consciousness. Others say self-realization or enlightenment. What we call it doesn't matter. What matters is the experience. And that's the focus of the Ishayas teaching. The Ishayas are devoted to this state of consciousness, not only realizing it within themselves, but also offering a clear roadmap and gentle guidance for anyone who feels called to follow the same path. Their tradition is not a belief system. It's not a religion, new or old. You don't have to adopt new rules or change your behavior. It's rooted entirely in your own direct experience. Enlightenment isn't mystical. It's not fleeting. It's not a mood or fantasy. It is a real, natural state of being. And yes, even measurable with today's science. Today, just over 1,000 teachers worldwide share the Ishayas Ascension techniques. Each one is a monk. Each one has committed to a life of healing, inner expansion, and sharing this path with others. Now let's be honest. No one attains full enlightenment from a book, a video, or an audio tape. It's not that kind of knowledge. Enlightenment has always been passed through personal instruction, from teacher to student. And that continues today. If this resonates, and you're drawn to go deeper, we'll share how to get in touch and learn more. You'll hear from 7 speakers in this presentation. But our names aren't important. This is not about gurus, personalities, or a cult of teachers. The Ishayas teaching stands on its own. We are simply people who love what we do, dedicated to bringing more joy, love, and compassion into our lives and the world. And if any of this sounds too far out or hard to believe, that's perfectly okay. In fact, it's better that way. You don't need to believe anything. We invite you to experience first, then decide for yourself. Because that's what this path is about. Direct experience. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll explore a variety of topics. Some thought-provoking, some unexpected. And our hope is that you leave with something truly meaningful for your life. But remember, this is still just talk. Mental food. To truly understand the Ishayas teaching, you must experience it. Whether you're looking for enlightenment, freedom from stress, or simply more joy in your day-to-day life, know this. You've been waiting for this teaching your entire life. So now, sit back, take a breath, and enjoy the rest of this presentation.
What is Ascension again? Please do not believe anything we say here. This is a teaching based on experience. Your experience. No amount of words could do it justice. Experience it yourself. Then decide if what we say here is the truth. The Ishaya is Ascension is a series of natural and effortless techniques to expand the mind and heart permanently. We call this procedure Ascension. Ascension is not a belief system. It's not a new set of rules to govern your life by. It is a series of mechanical techniques to ascend, which simply means to rise beyond limiting beliefs and behavior patterns that are blocking us from realizing our full potential. Simply put, Ascension provides a means to achieve the goal of human life on this planet. What is this goal? Why don't you tell me? Think about it. What do you want? If your answer is something like $1 million, the perfect job, or the perfect mate, go a little deeper. What you really want is what you think those things will give you. For example, you may think that having lots of money will make you happy, or that if you find a perfect mate, you can then experience love underneath this. What you really want is not the money or the mate. What you really want is the happiness, the love. You're only guessing that having money or this other perfect person will fulfill these desires. Time and time again, people have received exactly what they thought they wanted: lots of money, the perfect mater, the perfect job, only to find that something was still missing, A Course in Miracles states. Behind the search for every idol lies the yearning for completion. Wholeness has no form because it is unlimited. The world is constantly changing. As long as we are looking for someone else or something else to take a special form on the outside in order for us to be happy or feel love, we will constantly be disappointed. It is only by looking inside for the truth that we realize our wholeness from this place. All desires are fulfilled. Have you ever asked yourself, who am I? Why am I here? What is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? You know, all the big questions, this curiosity, and these desires to know are all completely natural. In fact, they're built in purposely by our Creator. Even as young children, we want to know who we are and why we're here. I saw a young child in the store the other day. She was expressing desperately from the bottom of her heart, crying, why? It didn't even matter what she was crying about. What that scene drove home for me was how deep the desire to know the truth is in all of us. To know who, what, and why. The amount of importance you place on seeking the answers to these questions influences the decisions you make, decisions that will eventually lead your life down such a path that will allow you to fully awaken into your true self. When this is done, all questions will be answered and all desires fulfilled. Modern psychologists are understanding this more every day. Many are now saying that our mental and physical health depend on how much importance we place on seeking the truth to these eternal questions. Dr. M. Scott Peck, a psychiatrist, speaks of this in his book The Road Less Traveled. He says, mental health is an ongoing process of dedication to reality at all costs. We must always hold truth to be more vital to our self-interest than our comfort. Conversely, we must always consider our personal discomfort relatively unimportant, and indeed, even welcome it in the search for truth.
Where can we find the truth? We turn to our religions, to therapists, and to all kinds of self-help practices and spiritual disciplines, hoping to answer these eternal questions. But most of these end up being distractions. At best, they help us feel a little better while we're being distracted. At worst, they try to make us feel guilty for asking such questions. Guilty for having these natural desires for love in the first place. Where does that leave us? Abraham Hicks once said, "There is no greater hell than the emotion of guilt regarding something that you have done." And that's how I felt. Nothing had meaning anymore. I felt empty. Alone. Without purpose. What disappointed me most about all these approaches was this. There's a lot of talk. A lot of ideas. About how people think things are. But almost no one is experiencing it. They aren't living more of life for themselves. Yet they tell us how we should live. It's insane. They tell us how to think, how to act, how to feel. But it's mostly based on what someone else said. Or what some book says. It's all speculation. Trial and error. And we're the guinea pigs. In my case, I didn't see anyone who was a living example. Someone actually shining the way to the life I wanted. So I had to ask myself, why would anyone follow a path that hasn't worked and isn't working for anyone else? So many teachings have become just that. Teachings. Words and ideas. But words and ideas are worthless next to experience. Because when we follow someone's advice, we're hoping to experience something better. But when we see that our teachers are only mouthing words and concepts they aren't experiencing for themselves, we lose trust. And we seek elsewhere. A Course in Miracles says it so clearly. A universal theology is impossible. But a universal experience is not only possible, it is necessary. Here alone, consistency becomes possible. Because here alone, uncertainty ends. And in truth, we will never find the answers in any belief system or doctrine. Only a direct, personal experience of truth can answer these eternal questions. And this is what the Ishayas teaching is all about. Experience. So, what is this experience? Good question. It doesn't matter where you're from, how old you are, your religion, your culture, your beliefs. There is an experience that is universal, eternal, unchanging, the deepest truth of who we are. It doesn't shift with age, sex, religion, or borders. It's the same always because it's real. It has many names depending on one's background. Samadhi, the transcendent, the void, the Tao, the peace that passes all understanding. Some call it the good. We call it the ascendant. Whether you're looking for a peaceful, stress-free life, or longing to awaken fully into your highest self, whether you call it enlightenment, peace, freedom, or joy, the name doesn't matter. What matters is this: that you experience it. Words can never fully describe it. But this quote from Rumi begins to paint the picture. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. That place is the ascendant. It's not something you can find by searching in the world. It's not a concept. It's not an opinion. It's a direct experience of pure being, where all the questions fall away because nothing is missing anymore. That field Rumi speaks of is always here. We've just been too busy looking elsewhere. The ascendant is the source. It is the field of infinite creativity, joy, love, and bliss. Lives have been completely changed, and entire belief systems have been created from just one glimpse, one tiny little taste of this universal experience that we call the ascendant. Uniting with the ascendant is the goal of human life. The problem has been that people can slip into this experience without knowing how they got there. Then they slip out of it without knowing how to get back. This is what the Ascension techniques address. We call them Ascension attitudes. They are vehicles that consistently take our awareness to the ascendant, to that universal experience. With the Ascension attitudes, you will have a reliable means to experience the ascendant. Whenever you choose, the more you experience this more expanded state, the more you will want to experience it. This simple choice is how we reduce stress and realize our enlightened status. Realizing enlightenment is the goal of human life.
The truth of who we are. There are two main styles of thinking in the world today. One is the esoteric, spiritual philosophy of the East. The other is the science-based, show-me mindset of the West. The Ishaya tradition? It has deep roots in both. We can describe the goal of human life from either perspective. In the West, in Judeo-Christian culture, this goal has been called many things: praying without ceasing, salvation, oneness with God, It was captured beautifully by a teacher named Jesus, who said, "I and my Father are one." That is the true birthright of every one of us. Not just for a chosen few. We were born to fully realize and live that oneness. And when we do, it's as if the small, limited self dies, and something greater is born. A life of peace, of love, of freedom from separation. In the East, this same goal is known by other names: enlightenment, self-realization, samadhi. But what is enlightenment, really? To understand it, just look at its opposite, ignorance. Ignorance is not stupidity. It is the act of ignoring what already is. And here's the truth. It often takes more energy to ignore the truth than it does to simply see it. We ignore the fact that we are already enlightened, that this is our natural state, our right by birth. We don't need to become anything. We only need to dissolve the barriers that prevent us from recognizing the truth. So why are we in this state of forgetting? Honestly, it doesn't matter. It's like being in the dark and trying to figure out why there's no light. Instead of just flipping the switch, let's stop focusing on why we don't have it and start focusing on having it. Let's stop asking, why not? And start asking, what if now? This isn't mystical. It's not magical. It's simple. Enlightenment is just realizing our full potential, becoming fully who we are. Science shows we only use about 10% of our brain, about 10% of our DNA. So what is the rest for? Could it be that we're built for more? That we are meant to awaken? We are. And it's a choice. The truth is, we are already enlightened. Only thin, fragile barriers remain. And what keeps those barriers in place? Stress. The stresses of life. Mental, emotional, physical. They distort our perception of reality. They create the illusion of separation, of not-enoughness, of fear. We experience this illusion through our judgments. Judgments, conscious or unconscious, block us from seeing clearly, from feeling fully, from loving deeply. But when we practice the Ishayas Ascension techniques, something amazing happens. The body begins to rest more deeply than in the deepest sleep at night. And in this deep rest, stress dissolves, barriers vanish, perception sharpens. We become clearer, lighter, freer. From this clear state, we begin to experience truth, not concept. Experience. We begin to feel our emotions fully, without fear. We stop judging them and start using their energy for healing, for growth, for joy. This is true empowerment. This is true freedom. This is invincibility. You are already everything you seek. And the journey home is not about becoming. It's about remembering. You are already enlightened. You are already whole. And now, it's time to experience it.